by saying you have a new movie that came out today.
Oh, the trailer came out today. Wait a minute. Yeah. Oh, I do.
Yeah.
Which one are you talking about?
The one with Emily.
Yeah, me and Emily. Well, sorry. Emily has a movie coming out today that I make a cameo in.
Yes?
Well, cameo. It's an important cameo.
What can you tell us about it and your important cameo?
Well, so the movie's called Calamity Jane, and my manager called me up and he goes, "Listen, I don't know if you're interested, but it'd just be a couple of days. It's a western that they're shooting up in Vancouver with Emily." And I go, "Yeah, sure." That's how that went. He went, "Do you want another part?" And I go, "No, it's fine." You guys, we play we wanted to really sort of mix it up, so we play love interests.
You've never liked them?
No.
What's your favorite thing about working with Emily?
My favorite thing, working with Emily, you never have to worry for 1 second that she's not fundamentally prepared for anything that you might want to do in the scene. She's always ready. She's always really focused. She has a serious nature about her without being overly serious. And she's just a terrific actor and scene partner. One of my favorite scenes that we shot in that movie is a scene where I literally don't say anything. Because I just let her do all the heavy lifting. Let's go.
Amazing. Okay, so you did mention there was a trailer that came out today.
Yeah.
Yes, for Code 8, which debuts the 28th of this month. So we're in Code 8 Part 2 month.
That's right.
So, and you're here this weekend also with your cousin, and I know you're doing a special panel just for Code 8. But can you tell us a little bit about the excitement of this new film coming out?
Well, first of all, we shot the first movie in, I think, 2017. That's right, 2017. And then it started out as, it was crowdfunded. I'm sure that there are people in this room that contributed to the first film. Naturally. This second movie is your movie too, I promise. And although you're not in the credits this time, that's the only difference. And so it came out sort of video on demand. It was on Apple and iTunes and Google Store, Play, whatever it is. And then we were approached by Netflix, and they said we'd like to put it on the platform. And so the big difference this time is just the machine that Netflix has put behind it. I mean, you see the banners that are up, and although it wasn't necessarily their idea to drop the trailer and do a special panel at MegaCon. It was my idea.
Great idea.
Yeah, I think that there's still outside of San Diego Comic-Con and a little bit New York Comic-Con, there's still a lot of people in the industry that don't realize how powerful conventions are, because they are filled with you guys. They're filled with the fans. And you guys and your opinions and you guys getting behind the movie, that's what matters. It's not the cover of a magazine. It's not it's not the feature article that you give to the New York Times. It's fans tweeting and Xing.
We can still call it tweeting.
TikToking and Facebooking and Instagramming and just word of mouth. And that momentum is invaluable.
For sure. Yay, us. We're doing it. Growing up, were you and Robbie close? Did you both know that you wanted to be in this industry?
No, growing up we were close, but I'm 7 years older than he is. So we hung out a bunch until I was around 12. And then the only time that we hung out between that and when I was in my late 20s was, I'm probably stepping on a story that we'll tell at the panel tomorrow, was when I gave him my ID. When he was 14 years old. Whatever, he turned out fine.
Now you're starring in a movie together, full circle. Okay, so, I always have to ask the wrestling questions.
Sure.
And we just had the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I was there.
And, okay, good. You guys are with me, and the two final people, your friends, we got CM Punk and we got Cody.
Yeah, so my two best friends in the wrestling world are Cody Rhodes and Phil Brooks, aka CM Punk. And Cody would send me text messages when, you know, Phil got on heels and like we post photos of us working out. He's like, I remember when I was your favorite. Jesus Christ, Cody. And so all my friends are like, dude, what are you gonna do? You gonna wear a Cody shirt? You gonna wear a CM Punk shirt? I'm like, I'm gonna wear a Bret the Hitman Hart shirt. I'm Switzerland. Or in this case, I'm Calgary, Alberta, okay? And so Cody comes out at number 15 or number 16, and then Punk comes out at 27, and I'm like, I turn to my buddies and I go, if they don't fight immediately, and they don't touch each other or face off, they are gonna be the last two in the Rumble, and I'm just gonna leave. I didn't leave, but I didn't really enjoy myself either. I felt like the Kelsey mom in the Super Bowl last year a little bit.
You had to pick between like your two favorite kids. So you mentioned Bret the Hitman Hart. Who would you like to see make a surprise entry into the Rumble?
Oh man, I was really hoping, because we were in Tampa, I was really hoping that Hulk was gonna come back. Although there's nothing like, I was in the arena, so we're getting into wrestling talk here. I was in the arena in WrestleMania 32 when the glass breaks and Stone Cold comes out. There is nothing like the glass breaking. It might not, it generates the biggest initial boom from the crowd. Yeah.
Special. Have you done a Rumble before, or?
No.
Okay. All right.
Not for lack of asking.
Interesting.
I still have time. The window is closing though. I don't know if anyone has seen me with my hat off recently, but whew. Looks like the tops of mountains, you know, during the fall.
Mountains are wonderful. All right, so we're gonna go to you guys. We're gonna start on this side and we'll go to this side next. Go ahead, what's your name? What's your question? I don't know if the microphone's on. Try it again.
Testing.
There we go.
Good for you.
My name's Leslie. My brothers are humongous fans of yours, and they really wanted me to ask you this question. What was your most favorite memory of filming Green Arrow, and how was it like filming the crossovers with The Flash?
So the crossovers were always great, but they weren't. The end product was always great. The process of filming them was sometimes a little cumbersome. Like scenes with 20 people are never that much fun to film. They look great, but the crossovers were great when it was like me and Grant hanging out, like doing a buddy adventure, you know? That was always really fun. And then my favorite memory of filming Arrow was the pilot. And I know that sounds like a little bit of a cop-out, but I mean, you only put the suit on and walk to set for the first time once. And man, I mean, we had David Nutter directing the pilot, who was the most decorated director in the history of television. He's being honored with the Lifetime Achievement Awards at the DGAs coming up. Unfortunately, I'm not able to go. I think it's next Saturday evening. But just the scale and the scope and the thought and just the execution and the way that it felt. And when I finished the pilot of Arrow, at that point, up until that point in my life, that was the greatest thing that I had ever done. So I don't know how it wouldn't be my number one.
Kind of a follow-up. What was it like seeing yourself in the getup for the first time?
What was it like seeing myself in the suit? It's great. It was good.
I'm sure. All right, go ahead. What's your name? What's your question?
Hi, my name is Oscar. I'm from Venezuela. I'm a huge fan of Arrow. I just recently watched it. Yes, I'm a little bit late, right? But amazing show. I just have a quick question. While filming Arrow, have you ever performed a stunt or a fight scene that you actually landed a punch or you got punched?
Yes. I remember in the first season, episode 5, 6, something like that. I swiped at a guy and I caught the bridge of his nose like that. He had a big nose. He had a big nose. But I broke his nose and blood gushing everywhere. And it got paid back to me in, I think, season 5, where I was going up against the quote-unquote the new recruits, and one of the stunt girls was supposed to do a roundhouse. She just roundhouse kicked me in the face. And we had about 2 more shots to get, and everyone's fussing over me, and I go, everybody get away from me, because I don't want to come back and shoot this scene. I go, put makeup on. First of all, I'm wearing a mask and a hood. I go, just leave it be. It looks cool. Let's get these shots, because in about 40 minutes, I'm not going to look like me. And, I mean, listen, there were, I think someone that was the double for David at one point, a jump went wrong, and I think he broke his leg, and I think that, you know, there was a concussion or two along the way, but our stunt team was so thoughtful and thorough and prepared amidst a very hectic schedule that really nothing major happened.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Question. Go ahead. What's your name? What's your question?
Hello, my name is Delilah, like the song. So as an actor, you've had a lot of diverse experiences within your roles, and clearly you've been able to connect with a lot of people. So, that being such, what have your characters been able to teach you as an individual, and what do you hope audiences and your fans will be able to take away from them?
Well, you know, that's a great question, Delilah. Somebody, and this happens a lot of times at conventions, and believe me when I tell you it never gets old, but there was a gentleman that came up to the table yesterday, and he came up and he just said, hey, I want to thank you. I said, what'd I do? And he said, your portrayal of Oliver Queen made me a better man. And he said this very earnestly. I met a gentleman today who said, your portrayal was one of the, he came up and he said I was 40 pounds overweight, and your portrayal of Oliver Queen was one of the factors of me getting in shape, and I've been a personal trainer for close to a decade now. So, you know, I think that, kind of going through the characters, Oliver taught me that you really can't go at it alone. And I don't mean like as a vigilante. I mean in life. Can't go at it alone. You have to be able to rely on people. You have to be able to put your trust in people. You have to be able, in order to get trust, you got to give it. I played a couple of murderers. I did not learn anything from them. And then I think, you know, with Jack Spade, I learned that, again, it's actually, maybe the reason I got offered the job is because the characters are actually quite similar. Again, you really can't go at it alone. And from Garrett in Code 8, I learned that I'd really like to have a superpower.
Great question.
Hey, my name's Leo. I have a question about heels, actually. Season 3. We're not going to get it.
Well, so here's what I know about heels, is that it's not going forward at stars, but the people that made the show, the people that created the show, want to keep making the show. So what they're trying to do is they're trying to take this property that we have, these 16 episodes that we have, which actually, it's 2 seasons, but it plays like one. And they're trying to take it and they're trying to land it somewhere. You can guess some of the places that this might be, but the difficulty is that because of what's happened with a couple of shows, it's the Suits corollary, where if a property goes on to Netflix say, and it goes like that, then the original network wants to be able to participate in the success and profits of future seasons. So it's a difficult deal to make, but I really, and forgive me if you haven't seen it, but I really, really hope that Jack Spade doesn't go out literally on his back.
That was gonna be my question, actually.
Yeah, okay. Keep going.
In your head, what happens to Jack?
He wins. No, the idea of Jack would always be that he evolves from a guy running a small-time regional wrestling promotion, that as a storyteller, he evolves into something bigger, someone that is running a national or an international or a global wrestling business. That was the idea. It's a good idea.
It's a great idea.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hi, Stephen. My name is Yasmina.
Hi.
Hi. So, throughout the years, Arrow has evolved so much. It went from its own show to being the backbone of the Arrowverse, and I was just wondering how you felt about that change.
Good. It led to a few frustrating moments, but those were important. We started as this grounded, crime-fighting show that really didn't leave Star City. And then, we evolved, and we're we are helping to bring in other shows. And, it's important to try stuff, but after season 4, I sat down with Greg Berlanti, who's if I'm the father of the Arrowverse, he's the grandfather, okay? He's the father, I'm the son. And I said to him, Greg, if we're gonna go forward, and we're going to keep making the show, and we were, because I was under contract. I said, can we do our show? Let's do our show. And he said, I agree. And that led to, I think, a very, very strong season 5, 6, 7, and 8, which is typically not how that works. So I stand by what we did and how we did it, and I think that it's a lot of responsibility to anchor something, but I like responsibility.
Hi, Stephen, I met you with the autograph. Pleasure to see you again. This one's like a more, I guess, lighthearted question. I'm not sure if you've been asked this yet, but
sure.
Like, there's a stereotypical, what would you take with you on a deserted island? I was gonna ask you which 5 of your Arrowverse cast members would you take with you on a deserted island to keep you company?
5?
5.
No, okay, no, it's fine, it's fine.
Every year on the island, I was thinking.
It's fine. So we're gonna go with Moira, Thea, Emily, Tommy, and Diggle.
Thank you.
Felicity, not Emily. Felicity.
What a fun island.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Hi, my name's Glenn. First of all, I just want to say thank you. When the show Arrow first came out, I was still a teenager. I was heavily overweight, 250 up to 300 pounds. Now 184, you were my first real fitness inspiration to get healthy, eat better, go to the gym, all that. So right now, I'm at the tail end of a cutting phase. I'm at the tail end of a cutting phase right now. When you're going through a cut for a role, what's the one food more than anything you just want to annihilate?
Macaroni and cheese.
Good answer.
Wash that down with a vanilla milkshake. And then wake up in the middle of the night and have some more macaroni and cheese. But hey, what about you?
Mac and cheese.
Is that true? But like, if you actually do a cheat meal, okay, you're old enough now, don't don't do like shitty mac and cheese, okay? Go out to the store, learn how to cook it, get some like good mozzarella or Gouda or Gruyere. Like,
Oh, I make all good homemade.
Okay, good. Good.
Hello, my name is Jonathan.
Hey, Jonathan.
Of all of the villains that you fought in the show, who was your favorite to either act with or fight with, or against, I should say?
I mean, act with? I don't know act with, because it was really fun acting with all of them. But the overall dynamic, well, there's two dynamics that I really like, but my answer number one is Prometheus, Adrian Chase, right? And I love to, and I've said this before, is because he was a villain of Oliver's creation, right? He was a villain that only got to exist because we got to do 5 seasons of television. That's pretty cool. But the dynamic that I liked the most was when Oliver and Malcolm Merlin became like frenemies, right? Because they liked each other, they respected each other, they didn't trust each other at all. And that's why I cut his hand off.
Thank you.
What's your name? What's your question?
Hi. Okay, my name is Nessa. Thank you for coming out. Of all the shows that you did a crossover on, what was your favorite? Like Flash, Legends, Supergirl?
No, Flash, for sure.
Was it great?
Flash. Yeah, I mean, they're catering.
That's fair.
So good. We were on the same lot in Vancouver. I would sneak over to.
Did they have mac and cheese?
I wasn't eating mac and cheese at the time.
Fair. Good question. Go ahead.
Hi, Stephen. I met you yesterday. Emmanuel was the Green Arrow suit. Yes. So I had a question. So there's still a
Did you go DC again for the panel or what?
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's still a big injustice community out there, and I know you voiced your character in the first game as a skin. So I was just wondering if you ever got to play the game, and if you did, if you played as yourself.
The last video game that I ever played in my life on a gaming system was Super Nintendo and Super Mario Kart.
That's good.
Because I can't stop once I start. I can't. And we gave our daughter a Nintendo Switch for Christmas, and that thing is speaking to me like the ring spoke to Smeagol. I can't, and then Taryn, who you guys see at the table all the time, is like, hey, I got this cool thing, Maverick. Guess what? I just downloaded every original Nintendo game to your Nintendo Switch for free. Can't do it, man. I can't. Robbie's the gamer. Robbie's the gamer. I played Clash Royale for a while.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead. What's your name? What's your question?
Hey there, Stephen. It's Mark. I remember you when I met you 3 years ago when I first came to MegaCon.
Cool.
So, my question is, how did it feel to suit up as the Green Arrow one last time during the Flash's final season?
That's a good question, and it felt great. I mean, it felt great because it's just going back and seeing old friends, and not just Grant, and Danielle, and Candace, and everyone on the Flash and the cast, but like crew, because a lot of crew members from Arrow went to the Flash once we were done. But people coming up to me a lot this weekend saying, do you miss it? It's like, well, I think that we ended the show when we should have ended the show, and I don't regret that. But if I didn't miss it, I wouldn't have come back.
That's a good response, because I did not expect for Oliver Queen to temporarily come back from the dead.
I did not expect Oliver Queen to temporarily come back from the dead. But much like the first question that you asked, I dropped my daughter off on school on a Tuesday. This is like October, and I didn't film until January. And it was Greg Berlanti, the guy that started all of this. And he goes, "Hey, listen, do you want to come back in the final season?" And I went, "Okay, tell me more." And he goes, "It's not the finale." And he goes, It's a nice story for Barry and Oliver." And I go, "Yes." And he goes, "Yes?" And I said, "Yeah, of course. Let's do it." That was it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, Stephen. My name is Alejandro. I came today with my best friend and my cousin. It's his birthday today, actually.
Happy birthday. Well, listen, there was a little kid here yesterday. His name's Arrow. It's his 5th birthday. I got photos of him when he's like 6 months old, and yeah, it's really cool. Well, happy birthday to your friend as well. Is he 5?
Yeah. No, he's in like the 3rd row.
Oh. So he acts 5. I'm kidding, man. I'm kidding. Come on.
So my question is, with the DC universe getting rebooted with James Gunn now, by the time that they eventually get to their own Crisis on Infinite Earths, how open would you be to return as Oliver Queen, whether it's a cameo or hopefully maybe bigger role?
Well, like I said earlier to that question, I love playing the character. I've loved being a custodian for the character. It's like, people have their favorite versions of characters, but nobody gets to play a character forever, right? Like, eventually, somebody else will play him, probably. And yeah, if the opportunity's right, if it's right, then it's right, and if it's not, then whatever. But it really is as simple as, do I think that the people that invested 8 years of their life and 170 episodes of television, is it going to make them happy? Because if it does, then it'll make me happy.
Thank you. Hey, Stephen, my name's Scott, and to my knowledge, no one in the entertainment industry works a salmon ladder the way you do. But my question is, do you have a favorite author, and is there a character that author writes that you would want to portray?
What a great question. My favorite author, one of my favorite authors is Chuck Klosterman. And you know him, he wrote a book called Sex, Drugs, and Cocoa Puffs, and he's written some that's nonfiction-ish. And then he's written some fiction books like The Visible Man and Downtown Owl, and just wonderful, like, all arts, pop culture, music. And he wrote a book that was semi-autobiographical called Killing Yourself to Live, where he drives from New York to Seattle, visiting all of these different places that famous musicians died, and trying to figure out why their death made them posthumously more famous. And he mixes in like stops where he's seeing old girlfriends and stuff like that. And I met Chuck on the set of Ninja Turtles back in 2015. And we eventually exchanged numbers and thought about like doing this book. And he eventually said to me, he's like, "Man, that's from a time in my life where I just do not want to see on screen." So, if I do it, I'm going to have to do it without his permission.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. Good question.
Unauthorized. All right, go ahead.
Hello, Stephen. My name's Harry.
Hey.
So I just wanted to bring you back to the wrestling talk real quick, because I was there also for the Rumble as well. What was your reaction to Cody winning his second Rumble back-to-back? And also, because you have experience in a WWE ring, because you faced Cody a long time ago, what number would you want to be at in the Royal Rumble?
What number would I want to be in? 30! I was really happy for Cody. really like tremendously happy for Cody. For those of you that don't know, he's got a documentary out on Peacock right now that he and the WWE asked me to narrate. And for anyone listening, I'm available to narrate right now. I loved it so much. I was very, very happy for him. It was a little bit difficult to celebrate because my other buddy, CM Punk, I saw in the ring when he hurt himself. For those of you that don't know, he tore his tricep and is going to be out. He's going to miss WrestleMania. So it was like one of those bittersweet, I feel bad, but I'm happy, but I'm sad.
I'm not gonna lie, I wanted Punk to win too, honestly.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Do you miss Stardust at all?
Do I miss Stardust? Yeah. Yeah, I have a pair of Stardust boots. Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Thanks for being here, Stephen. I'm Joe.
Hey, man.
How was it working with James Harrison, and do you have any behind-the-scenes stories involving him? Debo.
Yeah, James Harrison. For those, he played. Oh my God, what was his name on the?
Debo.
No. His name is in real life is Debo. What was his name on the show? It'll come to me. But James is working out with James Harrison is the coolest workout that you will ever have in your life. He was at the gym 2 hours before me. Okay, he warms up for longer than I work out. And he'd just be over there, he would yell at me, he would berate me, but I would take it as a compliment, which is weird. And I've got James Harrison stories, and I'm not telling one of them.
Knew it.
Oh my God, that guy. And by the way, you know, what a sweetheart. Like really devoted family guy, really thoughtful, and you know, couldn't be nicer. Also, that makes him even more terrifying than he already is. You know a guy is strong because I work out at a gym in LA where a lot of NFL players work out. These are NFL players. And when I mentioned that I was doing a show with James Harrison, every single NFL player goes, man, that's strong.
All right, we got time for a few more questions. Go ahead. What's your name?
Hi, my name's Donna. I've been a big fan for many, many years. My husband is actually very, very jealous of you, just to be honest.
Good.
That said, can we talk about Knocking Point? Because I haven't had anybody ask about
Sure.
that. All right, so my very favorite wines I've ever had have been from Knocking Point, the Code 8 Red. And then there was one that your daughter designed the label early on, I believe.
Yeah, we like to get our kids involved in the wine business early.
Those were the best wines I've ever tasted. But what I wanted to ask is, are we ever going to get a dessert wine from Knocking Point?
No one's ever asked that before. 10, 12 years we've been doing this. No one's ever asked that.
I would love to have a dessert wine.
That's a great idea. That's a great idea. Look, we source all of our wine. I think that's something that we might eventually do at the tasting room up in Walla Walla.
Yeah.
See how it goes. That's a good idea.
Also,
Hey, Taryn, write that down.
Also, just suggestion, come to Disney's Food and Wine, get your wine in there so we can have some more of it down here.
Okay, all right. I'd love to do that.
Okay.
If anyone's at Disney on Monday, I'll just be running around the entire time. Come say hi.
What park are you going to?
What park am I going to?
All of them?
Oh, yeah, all three.
Okay, amazing.
In one day.
They do it. All right, go.
Hey, Stephen.
I'm sorry, there's 4? All 4.
Hey, Stephen. In the comic books, Black Canary and Green Arrow were always linked together as a couple. How come and how did the change evolve from Oliver ending up with a canary to changing it where he ended up with Felicity?
That's a good question. I think that probably the original plan was for Oliver and Black Canary to do a thing. Greg Berlanti, who is currently and maybe will eventually be permanently the most prolific producer of television, like currently and maybe eventually in history, has a saying. He goes, "You have a hit show until you don't. So you don't save story. You burn through it. and this is Mark Guggenheim, one of the show's executive producers, who's here this weekend, was a showrunner for quite a few years, said, yeah, you know, we write ourselves into a corner all the time. We like that in the writer's room. And then we write our way out. And, you know, you have a plan, and then Emily comes along and you change the plan. There's no preconceived notion. I mean, we would start out every season with an idea of where it begins, kind of where the middle point is, and hopefully where it ends. But along the way, if you've got a pivot, like much like in wrestling, right? You have a plan, then somebody gets hurt. You change the plan, right? Or you have a plan, and then for the match, and then the crowd reacts a certain way, you change the plan. So you can't be, no pun intended, you can't be too married to anything. You really can't. You know, I know that's the comic lore, but you know, Oliver also had a goatee and was very funny in the comics. So you do what you do.
Awesome. So I was just informed we're at time. I know this always happens when I get to the final question. You say, let's do one more. So we'll do one more final question. Is that okay?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Okay. This is going to be the final question. I apologize. Go ahead.
Hi.
Wait.
What?
There's a wizard behind her. Like a little wizard.
So we'll do two more?
We'll do two more.
Okay.
Oh, that's cute. I have a really easy question. I'm wondering if you can share one of your funniest memories of being in the Arrow.
Oh, one of my funniest memories? Every single day that John Barrowman was on set. Any, like, could be a funeral scene, hilarious. Okay, we're fighting to the death. Every single day. What a treasure that guy is.
All right.
All right, Gryffindor, get up here.
And if you want, you can tilt down the microphone just so we can hear you a little bit better. What's your name?
Hi, my name is Eva Ellis, and my sister's a really big fan of you. She's in the crowd right there. And I was wondering, what was the funniest moment in the crossover Elseworlds when you had to wear the flag?
In the crossover Elseworlds? It's a great question. The funniest moment, Elseworlds, for people who don't remember, is when Barry and I swap bodies. Yeah. So the funniest moment was the first time that all of my Arrow castmates in the Arrow crew saw me in the Flash suit. David just walked up to me and he goes, I can't. Like, on the Flash set, everybody was fine, cool. And then they get back to my people and they treat me like shit. And we're trying to have this serious scene. There was a crisis. They didn't care. They just left me out to dry because they're all self-conscious in this stupid Flash suit. It was so tight and That quote that guy had in that moment were like 2 of the 10 worst moments of my entire life. Great question. I'm glad we saved it.
You have another panel tomorrow for Code 8 Part 2, so make sure you guys check it out.
Yeah, come to our, hey, listen, two things. Come to that Code 8 panel tomorrow with me and Robbie, and the best thing that you guys can do for Code 8 2, believe it or not, is to go on Netflix and watch Code 8 Part 1. Please and thank you. Hey, MegaCon, thank you guys so much.